Imagine standing in a forest 3 million years ago, surrounded by people you love and having no way to say it. No words for danger, no words for hunger, no words for I'm scared, just breath, gesture and sound. How did anyone survive like that? How did anyone raise a child, warn a friend or fall in love without a single sentence to lean on? The answer is stranger and more beautiful than most people realize. Because language, it turns out, was not the beginning of human connection. It was the end result of it. Long before the first true words were spoken, our ancestors were already communicating in ways that modern humans have almost completely forgotten how to notice. They pointed, they stared, they mimicked. A raised eyebrow could mean danger. A held gaze could mean trust. Long before grammar existed, the human face had already become one of the most expressive tools in the animal kingdom, capable of producing thousands of subtle signals almost instantly. Some researchers argue this facial complexity evolved specifically because our ancestors needed a way to coordinate without speech. Every flicker of an eyebrow, every tightening around the eyes was a sentence with no words. But faces could only say so much, so the body became a second language. Early humans likely relied heavily on gesture, the same way toddlers do today before they can speak. Pointing at a predator, mimicking the shape of an animal to signal a hunt, slapping the ground to warn of danger nearby. Some anthropologists believe gestural communication may have been a critical stepping stone toward language, since many primates, including chimpanzees and bonobos, use intentional gestures to request, warn, and coordinate with remarkable precision. If our closest living relatives can do this without words, it's almost certain our ancestors could too. And yet, gesture alone couldn't carry every idea. What happens in the dark when hands can't be seen? This is where sound starts to matter, but not the sound of words, the sound of rhythm. Some scientists propose that early hominins may have used patterned vocalizations, hums, grunts, and rhythmic calls to bond groups together long before language existed. Think of it like a shared heartbeat. A synchronized rhythm between two people can lower stress, build trust, and create a felt sense of unity, even without a single shared word. It's why humans today still hum to babies, sway to music, and feel instantly connected in a crowd chanting the same beat. That instinct may be older than speech itself. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. If there were no words, how did early humans pass down knowledge? How did a mother teach her child which berries were poisonous, or how to start a fire? The answer lies in something almost invisible to us now: imitation. Humans are exceptional imitators, far more precise than any other primate. A child doesn't need to be told how to grip a tool if they can watch it done exactly the same way, over and over, until the motion becomes memory. Some researchers believe this deep drive to copy others accurately, called high-fidelity imitation, may have been one of the true engines of early human culture, allowing skills to spread and survive across generations without a single sentence ever being spoken. Still, something is missing from this picture. Tools, fire, shelter. None of these fully explain the moment when humans began to feel like humans, emotionally connected, socially bonded, deeply aware of one another's inner world. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Some scientists argue that touch, not sound, may have been our first true language. Grooming, holding, touching the arm of someone in distress, these are ancient behaviors seen throughout the primate world, and they release the same neurochemical, oxytocin, that strengthens human bonds today. Before there were words for comfort, there was simply a hand on a shoulder. Before there were words for love, there was simply staying close. So if hands, faces, rhythm, and touch were already doing so much, why did language even need to evolve at all? This is one of the biggest mysteries in human evolution, and there is no single agreed upon answer. But one leading idea is both simple and haunting. As human groups grew larger, the emotional and physical communication that worked for small families and tight-knit bands began to break down. You can hold one person's hand, you can hug one friend in comfort, but you cannot physically touch, groom, or make eye contact with 50 people at once. Some anthropologists suggest that language may have evolved as a kind of vocal replacement for grooming, a way to maintain social bonds across larger and larger groups without needing constant physical closeness. In other words, talking may have started as a way to hug people from a distance, and once that shift began, everything changed. A sound that once simply meant danger could now be shaped, repeated, and eventually eventually connected to other sounds. A gesture that once stood alone could now be paired with a vocal cue, reinforcing meaning. Slowly, communication stopped being a single flash of information and became something new, a system. Ideas could now be built, layered, and passed on with precision. But this transition likely didn't happen overnight, and it likely didn't happen the same way for every group of early humans. The truth is, no one knows exactly when the first true word was spoken, or if there even was a single first word at all. It may have been a gradual blurring, sound blending into gesture, gesture blending into rhythm, until one day, without anyone noticing the exact moment, humans crossed an invisible threshold. What we do know is this: long before that threshold was crossed, humans were already deeply connected. They were already warning each other of danger, already comforting each other in grief, already teaching children how to survive, already falling in love. Language didn't create human connection. Human connection created the need for language. And maybe that's the most surprising part of this entire story. We tend to imagine our ancestors as incomplete versions of ourselves, waiting for words to finally make them human. But the truth is the opposite. They were already whole, already feeling, already bonding, already building a shared world, using nothing but their eyes, their hands, their breath, and their willingness to stay close to one another. Perhaps the most human thing we ever did wasn't learning to speak. It was learning, long before that, how to listen. If this made you see communication differently, subscribe for more stories about who we really are and where we truly came from.